Taron, good to see you again, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. You are an immaculately groomed man.
Oh, keep going, sir. Keep saying nice things. I appreciate you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Seriously, congratulations on this, dude. I watched the entire. It is genuinely one of the best things you've ever done. So I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I'm going to jump into this. I want to talk about the first time as an actor that jail cell slammed shut. I've spoken to people who've told me that there's no worse feeling than the first time your cell slams shut and sort of the reality of your situation sets in. So I'm curious, even though it's pretend and you're an actor and it's a set, what does it do to you in that cell as it slams shut for the first time?
Well, it's actually not a set. So they overtake the electrical system of the prison and they're able to control the cells. So when they shut those gates, I can't get out. So you do feel something of the reality of it, particularly if it's a scene where it's lit for the middle of the night, as many of the scenes are in the show. And you do feel a little kind of jolt of anxiety, you know. Shooting in a real prison, I think, really brings something to the show, a sense of authenticity and danger. But it's a very grim environment to spend a few months. And, I know Paul felt as well. We were really sick of being there by the end of it. You know, it's not a pleasant place to be.
God, seriously, just hearing that gives me anxiety thinking about shutting that. I want to talk about your different experiences playing real people, but under vastly different circumstances. With Elton John, you had decades of material and video and interviews to pull from. With Jimmy, obviously significantly less. So how does that change your experience as an actor, having a lot to pull from versus really not having that much?
I mean, you know, for me, it's always the script is always the thing that I take most of my interpretation from. Obviously, my kind of aesthetic for the character with the kind of, the dark kind of Italian American type hair, and that's all, taken from the way the real Jimmy Keane looked at this time. Also, my physique is I'm emulating the kind of physique that the real Jimmy had. In terms of, footage and things like that, I always feel that, like the performances that I try and give are ones where it's a sort of blend of me and them, because I think you can go so far into emulating somebody else that it can feel a bit like it lacks some substance maybe. So for me, it's always about trying to find the similarities between me and a character and then bringing a lot of myself to it. That's not everyone feels that way, but that's the kind of thing that I try and do.
Your walking montage at the end of one of the episodes to Low Fidelity All Stars it's fantastic. I love it so much.
You get it. You know, when I first saw that episode, I think I text Dennis just screaming, because that end of that episode is so
good.
You're just like, right. I defy anyone to get to the end of episode 3 and not want to watch episode 4.
I now put the AirPods in and walk around Chicago hearing that. They're giving me I got to ask really quickly because they're giving me the wrap, because I really want to talk about the loss of the great Ray Liotta, who I've had the pleasure of meeting and speaking to before. He's such a great, kind man. I'm curious. I honestly think this is one of his best performances of his career. So what did you take from him as an actor that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your career and think about and stick with you?
Wow. I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you of all of Ray's performances. This is amongst my favorite. And I think he was, Ray ended his career and his life at the absolute peak of his powers as an actor, and that to me is very, very inspiring. Just that fact that even I mean, it was a terrible, tragic shock that Ray died, because I think he was 67, not old enough to leave, but certainly in the later chapters of his life. And for him to still be operating at that level is really inspiring to me. He was somebody who brought every fiber of his being to his roles. When he turned up on set as Big Jim, he just was the character, and it was very, very, very interesting to me. Because I'm not somebody who sort of particularly stays in character in between takes or things like that. I might sort of keep myself to myself, but his process was very, very inspiring to me. And I think if I've learned anything, it's that you can never be too committed to a role. And Ray was certainly that.
You're absolutely right. Taron, I could talk to you all day. I appreciate you taking the time. This is generally one of my favorite projects of yours. So seriously, we've spoken many times, hopefully many more times in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Nice seeing you.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you again, my friend. How are you?
What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Dude,
well. I was just watching your Elvis interviews.
Oh, excellent, man. Hopefully you enjoyed them, man. Dude,
great, man.
I appreciate you. Dude, I've got so many questions for you because you are so good in this. Greg just gave me so much shit because I couldn't stop talking about you because you're just phenomenal. So I'm going to jump into it. You've spoken really extensively about not doing the method actor thing and the importance of breaking away from the character at the end of the day and when you needed to. And I know a lot of actors, some choose to do it and some don't. Anthony Hopkins said, he's like, yeah, I don't really do the method thing. I'm sort of curious, was the choice of, I guess, to method or not to method one you had to consciously make before starting this, or was that never even an option?
I just thought it was never even an option. It's kind of like getting off the treadmill once you hit your calorie burn. I don't want to stand there longer than I need to. Playing him was difficult enough. And I just love people. I have a heart for crew members and people in general. I'm the kind of guy who will stop and talk to a homeless person for 20 minutes. So I don't want to alienate people on set. You're with these people for months on end. They're working long hours and they're working to make you better and help you. So you don't want to be too precious and not be able to have human interaction with people. If I was playing Teddy Roosevelt or something for Spielberg, maybe there would be a little bit more of a leaving the kettle on the stove, but yeah, it's just a choice I had to make. Yeah.
Did you just give me a scoop? Are you playing Teddy Roosevelt for Spielberg?
Oh no, I would hope Spielberg doesn't try to make a presidential biopic after Lincoln. When going from Daniel Day-Lewis to anyone else would be a poor decision on Steven's part. But I do want to play Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot of biopics I'm really interested in making. Definitely. Please give me that junket when that happens. You were talking about the crew and with people. Well, I feel like one of the fascinating things about Larry Hall is watching people's reaction to him, watching how unsettled and uncomfortable he makes people. When you were in character, could you ever feel people acting differently around you? Could you feel an impact that Larry was having on other people? Definitely, yeah. There were some takes where I can't curse on this, can I?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, there were some takes where I would finish and they'd yell cut, and Taron would look at me and go, "Fucking hell, man!" I did a take where I improvised a really disgusting line, and when they yelled cut, Ray Liotta looked at me and was like, "Ho ho ho! You are one sick puppy, man!" And there were some real reactions out of other performers and crew members, which was. It's a good indicator that you're somewhere that you need to be when doing the performance.
That you're on the right track. I've got to tell you, you and I are both big movie fans. I love movies. They kind of fall into the realm of this series. Movies like Silence of the Lambs or Primal Fear, where it kind of revolves around and rests on the relationship between two people. And I very much feel like this series falls under that umbrella. Since you are a movie fan, I'm curious, what did you learn from movies like that? Obviously it's a completely different thing, and I don't want to diminish the power of this project, but I'm sort of curious, as a movie fan, what you learn from projects that you love and that you care about that you bring to other projects.
I think you're right. I talked about Primal Fear. There's this filmmaker, Gregory Hoblet, who I really love, who made Fallen with Denzel, Frequency with Dennis Quaid,
Fallen.
and Primal Fear with Ed Norton. And, all those movies kind of have that back and forth between characters in kind of a tense situation. And I did approach this less like a serial killer thing and more like a psychological character-driven drama. So in a way, even though it's true crime, it is a bit of a cosmic gumbo between true crime and invasive character study.
Dude, they're giving me the wrap. I've got 10,000 more questions I wish I could ask you because your performance in this is just absolutely fun. I'm such a fan, man.
I have to tell you, big fan of you, love chatting with you, and I'm sorry I had to cosmic gumbo you.
Dude, I love that expression though. That's a great expression.
Look up Cosmic Gumbo and Tim Robinson's show. I Think You Should Leave. You'll get the joke.
Okay, I'm in. I'm gonna look it up immediately. I'll message you later this afternoon and we'll talk about it. All right, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Jake.
The people we're going. We don't need roads.